All right, folks. The Legacy Classic HBCU Invitational is taking place at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey this weekend. I had the chance to speak with Jackson State men's head basketball coach Mo Williams before game day. The interview was going well as I asked him questions about his basketball journey and NBA career. After a few minutes, the Jackson State PR guy, who was behind the screen, kept signaling for me to wrap up the interview, and I hadn't even gotten a chance to ask the coach about his experience coaching at an HBCU. Mind you, there was no other media there trying to talk to the coach. Now, when you look at the top college basketball and football teams, the rosters are filled with black athletes. Without them, none of these top athletic schools are competing for either of these two championships. Clearly, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to see that the top black athletes don't want to go to HBCUs in this day and age because they don't. Plain and simple. There were several things I wanted to ask the coach about his experience coaching at an HBCU, but because of time limitations, this is how it went down.
The experience was second to none.
Okay, I want to ask you about your experience coaching and all that. Now, here at Jackson State, HBCU, and there's a lot there, but so you're in your hometown, you're coaching. I know Dion was here coaching the football team before he left, so almost out of time. So just, I guess, if you could, how could you sum up just your experience being here about 2 years so far and just HBCU trying to get these black kids to go to HBCU and not.
I don't recruit just black kids. I recruit basketball players first and foremost, and I don't look at it as an HBCU. We're a Division I program. I think people get it misconstrued that this HBCU is different from Division I. We're a Division I program.
Okay. I have a number of issues with what the coach is saying here. And again, the school PR guy is behind the camera signaling for me to end the interview, so I had to wrap it up and did not stop him and say this the way I should have. The coach is quick to jump out and says that he doesn't just recruit black kids and that he recruits basketball players. Okay, fine. Even though there is not one non-black kid on his Jackson State team, and two, someone out there let me know when the last time was that a top white football or basketball recruit signed on to play their college years at an HBCU. Somebody out there, please let me know that. But of course, the top black athletes run to predominantly white institutions, PWIs, to play all the time, including Mo Williams. When he was coming out of high school, he says he is from Jackson, Mississippi, but Jackson State was only good enough for him to be affiliated with once he could no longer get a spot on an NBA roster. He then essentially says that he doesn't like the term HBCU because he doesn't look at it as an HBCU. That's what he said. Quote, I don't look at it as an HBCU. I look at it as a Division I program. Well, of course, it's a Division I program. My question is, why are you coaching at HBCU if you have a hang-up of the term HBCU in relation to your team and university? Okay, let's continue.
And we just happen to be HBCU. I mean, people don't say, ACC Duke. They say Duke.
Yeah.
Or they say the University of Alabama, correct? They don't say SEC Alabama.
Right. Okay, well, newsflash, Coach. No one refers to Jackson State as HBCU Jackson State or HBCU Hampton, HBCU Norfolk State either. And the PWIs are referred to as PWIs like HBCUs are referred to as HBCUs in this context, right? I mean, every school is a PWI predominantly white except for HBCU. So there's no need for it to be said if it's not an HBCU, all right? When it's an HBCU, yeah, it's an HBCU because every other school is predominantly white. So the few that aren't, that has to be noted, okay?
So I don't really look at it as we're a Division I program and we're trying to compete for the same championship everybody else is. And that's my goal. And I'm just worried about us. If I can be the best version of me every day, then my guys will be the best version of them.
Last one for you. Last one. All right, so I went to an HBCU. I'm from New York. No HBCUs up here. I wanted to go to one. I know how the HBCU teams, basketball, talking about competing, it's about talent. top talent does not, they don't want to go to HBCUs. What do you think that can be done to just change that mindset? Because with basketball, you get 2 or 3 top players, they can be one of the top teams in the country. You know, it can happen that fast. What do you think? How do you think that could happen?
I don't think it's a. I don't think it's a. I don't think that top talent don't want to go to HBCU. I don't think that's the case. I think it's just they're thinking about their future, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're thinking about resources, what you have available for them to actually get better. And typically, the bigger conferences, have more resources. So I don't think it's a point or a fact that top talent just don't want to go to HBCU.
So when you say resources, what? Because like
It just nutrition. What kind of weight program you have. You name it. We have all those things, but Power 5 have it, at a 10 times different level. Just far as all those type of things, they're going to look at, the top talent going to look at, and it's going to be hard for them to turn that down when they have those options.
All right, folks, here with Jackson State head coach and NBA champion Mo Williams. Mo, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, mind you, the Jackson State PR guy is behind the scenes the entire time telling me to wrap it up, so I can't follow up. I'm in a hurry right now, yada, yada, trying to get my thoughts together. But the elephant in the room when it comes to any of these big HBCU events is how the top black talent in the black community does not want to and does not play for any of these schools, okay? Today, during this TNT broadcast of this Legacy Classic, you're not going to hear one word about that, okay? Not one word. Now, Mo Williams, he did not want to associate himself. He never was associated with the HBCU until he could not play in the NBA anymore, and he wanted to coach, and no PWI gave him opportunity, so HBCU did. So he's now at HBCU representing them, but as you see, he has a hang-up on the term HBCU being used in relation to his team basketball program and university. And when he talks about resources, that's what all these people say, resources. When I ask them, why isn't it that these black top athletes don't go to HBCUs? And the first thing all these people say is, oh, these PWIs have better resources, okay? Which to me is nonsense, because the only resource that matters is money. And universities, no university can legally pay any of these athletes. So these athletes are not being paid by any of these big schools that you see them all running to, okay? They're not. The reason why these kids go there is because they think it's their best chance to get to the pros, and I get that, I understand that. But if the only reason why these schools, these top schools we see, Duke, Kentucky, yada, 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 are the best basketball and football programs is because the top black athletes run to those schools and make those schools the best, okay? If they went to PWIs, okay? If they went to HBCUs, the best black talent, the HBCUs would have the best football and basketball team, right? That's really how it's supposed to be. When you think about it, it's not that hard of a concept. But I get it, okay? Everyone is trying to get to the pros, and these big white institutions are the ones who are on television, right? So that's all anybody's thinking about. But that goes back to Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, at Jackson State, where Mo Williams is now the head coach of the basketball team. And it's like Deion was on his way to changing that mindset. But when you hear Mo Williams and people talk about these kids, these top black recruits go to these PWIs because of resources, and they mention nutrition and weight room, please. Does anybody think that an 18-year-old kid is going to a university because of the nutrition program or the weight room? No, please, stop, okay? A lot of these kids came up under very, very, normal, humble circumstances and have had to use and play through all kinds of conditions and are not worried about how the gym facility is when they are considering where they're going to school. They're going where they think they can get to the pros the fastest. And when Coach Prime was at Jackson State, he showed We saw him get the number one recruit in the country, Travis Hunter, in football to go to an HBCU, okay? So all that resources, PWIs have better resources, that's nonsense, okay? That is hogwash. The only reason why these top black athletes go to these PWIs is because in their mind, it's the fastest and best way to get to the pros. But if the best black talent was going to HBCUs, again, the way Deion was on the verge, all right, he was beginning to get these kids to understand and see. If that happened and there was a shift, you would see Hampton, Howard, Norfolk State, Southern, Grambling, all these schools would be the ones that we see every day on CBS and ESPN getting that top revenue. All right, folks, I'm on my way to the doubleheader in Newark, and I'll have a lot more on this subject later. All right, folks, we're back.